Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular meeting, February 1st, 2022. Let's stand and begin with prayer and pledge, please. Our Father, we thank you today for your hand upon our lives. Lord, as we look across the landscape today, we know that as we're here making decisions for today and for our future, you're here with us. We ask for your wisdom and guidance. Father, we ask that you would touch those family members that are dealing with lost loved ones and loss in recent times. Only you can do it. We look to you today for strength for them and for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, up next on our agenda be approval of minutes.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lockley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parrish. Any discussion, Commissioners? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous. Next will be payment of the county bills.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bolt to approve. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous. Up next, Mr. Alan Pierce, Special Project Coordinator.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
All right, so I have just a few items of interest for you all regarding the dredging projects. The first is, and Jessica, your clerk secretary, has all the documents. So I submitted 9 documents to the consortium that represent all the documents that they need to see to approve our prepayment. I did get a call yesterday or an email from Dan Duarte requesting a modification to the cover letter that the Corps had sent. So I'm having to get that changed slightly. Apparently the letter wasn't adequate, even though the letter came on letterhead from the Corps of Engineers. They still want to say PE on the letter, as if people in the Corps of Engineers aren't professional engineers. So
Wow.
I want to strangle people when I get these kind of details. Anyway. So we're working on a modified letter. Number 2, work on a dredging schedule. It is possible the Corps is in the area because somebody's out on Bird Island right now with a bulldozer pushing things around, and we don't know who it is. I haven't got a call yet. I don't want to wake the Corps up, but around 9:30, because they're on Central Time, I will call over there and see if I can get an answer for what they're doing, and is this related to the dredging that is supposed to happen. Because what's supposed to happen by a phone call I had last week is that the Corps has received some funds to dredge the intercoastal, and they're going to do that, and then they'll do our projects, which is sooner than I expected. I don't know how long the intercoastal dredging will take, but once they get the dredge in the area, they're going to do everything. So that's, to me, that's very good news. So if I can find out this morning from the Corps exactly when that's going to be, I'll come back here and tell you all that. Regarding the 2-mile project, there is an additional hurdle in that the 2-mile disposal area has to be monitored by a certified bird harassment officer following a bird harassment plan approved by the FAA. We have an estimated $80,000 fee to do this plan. We have a company who's interested in doing it. I've called the Corps. The Corps is interested in taking over this responsibility, and so we would just pay them out of our $5 million of the consortium for this service. But they would then monitor with that same contractor, and I'm hoping they'd get a different price because I'm hoping that when the Corps of Engineers calls you, you say, oh, I better do something than what they want, because otherwise you'll never get their help again. So I'm hoping that this consultant firm will be more accommodating to the Corps than they are to us, but we'll see. And the last thing is, even though things are moving along, I think, and as far as our funding getting approved by the consortium, there might be, depending on the speed of the Corps, there might be a need for some short-term financing. And Erin and I talked last week, and she has sent out 2 letters to funding agencies. I'll tell her that.
It's actually going to be going out to the 2 local banks, so People's South and Centennial, and then also I'm going to reach out to the Florida Association of Counties to see if by chance they have any sort of short-term financing available for small counties. I know last time we made the inquiry, we were actually a little too small to qualify for their program, but we're going to see that if by chance they have expanded the rules. But it will be very short-term.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, if the consortium acts and I get all they're satisfied with the documents, so they'll be sitting on the approval yes, when the same time when the Corps says we need the money, and then once the consortium says yes, we're ready to give you the money, then they only have 7 days to give it to us, which I think is a short enough period of time that we won't have to do financing. I just don't know how fast the Corps say, we want the money. So anyway, but it should be very, very short term, less than a month.
What about the other bank? That's saving it alone.
Well, I'll defer to Erin, who she's contacted.
We could include them as well, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
So that's the status. I'll answer any questions.
I will say this, Alan, I do know there is a dredge in the area, I just don't know that it's the dredge that's supposed to be doing our project. One of the good byproducts of working in the industry I work in, they've already been in the store buying parts, supplies, that kind of stuff, so I know for a fact they're here.
Okay.
So hopefully it's the ones that are doing our work.
Okay. All right. Well, as soon as I think it's a good time to call them, I'll call them.
Good. Any questions for Mr. Pierce? Thank you, Alan. Okay, up next is public comments. Mr. Morone, I didn't receive anything by email, did you?
No, sir. There were no speaker cards filled out, and I'm going to double check the email one last time.
Please do.
And no, sir, nothing.
Okay. All right. So up next is Miss Michelle Maxwell, Clerk of Court.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to give a quick update on Carabelle, the company that's scanning the official records. They did pick up the phase 1 records on January the 13th. And as of right now, they have all of those records and, and they're scanning as we speak. We are waiting on Tracy Busby to get back with us on the additional funding, possibly using ARPA funds. And we haven't heard back from her as of today, so we're still waiting on that.
Okay. Michael.
So we can't begin the next phase until,
Okay.
it's a funding issue.
Okay. What's the timeline of us hearing back? Do you not have any clue at all?
I would tell you what she's probably waiting for is for the April 15th rules. That's the correct date to take effect. Because since the scanning of the files aren't directly tied to COVID, we want to go, she basically wants to use those rules instead. They don't take effect till April 15th.
Okay, but the final rule's already been made.
Yes.
And as my understanding, you just have to tell Treasury if you're gonna follow the interim rule or the final rule. If you follow the interim rule, you got to report it at the end of every month. If you're gonna follow the final rule, you don't report till April 30th, but you can go ahead and start using the funds. So we need a clarification on that.
Yes.
Because that's what I heard when I listened to the NACO webinar on it. I listened to it twice to make sure I wasn't hearing things. No, the money's there for us to use. We don't have to wait to April to start using. So we really need to just find out.
Yeah, I'll double check. I did check with her because you told me that earlier, and
Yes.
she said her interpretation of it, because there are rules up front, and she says as you dig deeper that they refer to other rules, it kind of restricts you until April 15th. But what I'll have her do is print it out and send it to me, and then I'll send it to you all. We can make a determination from that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Mike.
Fair enough.
Mr. Chairman, how much money are we talking about here?
For the phases or for the American
For
Recovery?
the American Recovery?
1.4 million this year?
1.17
Oh,
this
oh,
year.
oh, it's
And then
1.1.
In 1 year, we'll get another installment of the 1.17.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a standard allocation?
Yes,
That is for us. yeah.
for us.
Yeah, for our size.
Does that
Yes.
go by population?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe. And I think what the chairman is also getting at is that if there's a different set of rules if you're getting less than
10 million.
10 million.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the magic number. So it kind of frees you up if you're getting less than 10 million. Tracy's still of the opinion that that is true, but that doesn't really take effect till April 15th. So that's what I have to clarify between the chairman's interpretation and hers. And let's get something and get it in writing. As long as we get it in writing, we're good to go.
And if I can add this too.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
To scan for the completion, it's $192,576.72. We've used 82,000 of the CARES money to start the phase 1, so you're looking at 192,000 to complete scanning all of the
project.
official records.
Okay. And Clerk Maxwell, how far back does that go? Do you know?
From the very first official record book, which was,
It's in the 1800s, isn't it? Sorry, I wasn't
I
trying to
don't
put you on
want
the
to quote
spot.
exact date on the very first book, but yes, it's back in the very first book. I don't want to give you the
No,
exact
you're good.
date.
I wasn't
I'll
trying to
have
put you on the
look.
spot. I
Yes,
just,
but no, it's just the official records. It's
Yes.
not court records.
Right,
And
right.
I want to
Okay.
make that clear, but it
Right.
will be all of the official records. Any deed transactions, anything that was recorded
okay,
from the very beginning in Franklin County.
cool. Anything else? Does
Mr.
anyone have any
Chairman,
questions? Yes, sir.
I understand that this scanning has an added benefit in that the outcome product of the scanning allows searchable ability
Yes,
by
it does, yes.
specific keywords, et cetera.
It does, correct, yes.
Okay.
And it'll be available on my website.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, Howard Neighbors, Superintendent of Roads and Bridges.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Howard.
I hope all y'all doing well.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple items. For the last couple of weeks, we've had no inmates on kind of lockdown, so, and they don't know when they're gonna let them out, so. And, the other one I got, is Walnut Creek, the bridge report, which I've got up with Michael and I've got up with Clay and Mark. And we're gonna have to do, the way they say, they're gonna have to do emergency fix on the west side of that, or either close the road.
Okay. Quick question, Howard.
Yes, sir.
The other day we discussed for a minute, and I think we need to follow through. It won't be decided today. FDOT had, through their current local contractor, reached out and talked about having to redo the contract for what we do in East Point, from Ferroville. So we need to try to have that ready for the next meeting if it's at all possible. I think that contracts are actually expired maybe, but we need to look at what we're doing to renew them, but it does involve inmate labor. That's the reason I mention it now.
Yeah, that's right. If I ain't mistaken, I think the contract's been expired for about 10 years, 8 years. But that's correct. Well, you know, it just used to, we got 35, 40 inmates per day.
Right.
And in the last 3 or 4 years, it's been cut down to like 8 inmates, maybe 12 tops a day.
Yeah.
And they don't know when that's gonna pick up or if it's gonna pick up.
Yeah, well, it's gonna lead us into some areas of making decisions, that's for sure. Because,
Yes.
you know, if you're using 30 people to do a job and you all of a sudden go into using 5, that's kind of difficult.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, maybe it's something we can talk about at the next meeting, but I just want to bring it up so the board would be aware that this
Okay.
is being discussed before it gets to them.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions or concerns?
Yeah, if I could, let's go back to Walnut Creek. I have Clay on the line too, in case we need him to jump in. So what actually I'm looking for, or Howard and I are looking for from the board, is a motion, some action to declare that situation an emergency situation and do some temporary repairs. We have a grant that's coming up. I think construction money will be next year, 2023. Right now, I believe it's in engineering and designing. Clay or Howard, you can jump in, you know, when I go astray. And, but that's, it can't wait that long. We got a FDOT inspection that wasn't good. They're basically telling us we need to do something about it now or face possible closure. And so Clay had some Dewberry engineers look at it. They came up with a temporary fix, which would include some sheet piling on that road. And so we need to do it ASAP. Now, I'm gonna ask Clay if he was able to, because we talked about this yesterday, which it was kind of late, I realized. I asked Clay yesterday to see if he can get an estimate as what he thinks it would cost, rough ballpark, nothing exact. And Clay, were you able to, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so no, sir, I was not. I called 2 different contractors, couldn't get in touch with one. But those are numbers that I can get together and get to y'all at a future date. But let me just clarify real quick, not that you said anything wrong, but the west head wall, Womack Creek is a stone head wall, a masonry head wall. And essentially what is happening on the west side, over one of those barrels, the head wall is separated and is leaning towards the water body to the west. And I forget who did the report, but they suggested in their report that maybe some temporary sheet piling or something to hold that wall up is what was needed. And I sent that to some people down in Orlando to look at it from a structural standpoint, and they agreed with that assessment. So what we're talking about doing is getting hopefully a local contractor, somebody close enough that they can get down there pretty quick, and drive some temporary sheet piles along there just to hold that wall, that head wall, in place. I think before the board this morning, there should be a contract for the design of the replacement head walls.
Yep, that's
But
it.
like Mr. Morone said, the construction money for that won't come available until next year. So we're still a couple of years away from actually having it repaired, but we need to do something to temporarily fix that, or at least keep it from falling in. And I'll quit rambling.
And Commissioners, I would ask that, since Aaron is working on a new bid policy, that should be in front of you at the next meeting, that we're asking to raise the bid from 10 to 25,000, before he has to go out on bid. So I would ask the board, as I asked Attorney Schuler also to walk us through the process of declaring this an emergency, what needs to be done, that the board authorize up to 25,000 for these repairs. If it's more than that, then I'll have to come back to the board and we'll have to, in some manner. But that's, as I asked Attorney Schuler to kind of, like I said, walk you guys through, get the motion done, I would ask in that motion, I'm authorized to approve it up to 25,000.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Clay, do you agree, I know you don't have any estimates from contractors, but you've looked at the scope of work. Do you think a authorization of up to 25 will be sufficient for the temporary repairs as you understand they need to be completed?
I think it can be done for that, but the way pricing has gone here lately for construction, I don't want to be held to that number. But yeah, I think it should be able to be done.
Okay, no one's, we understand this is ballpark. You don't have any live numbers from a contractor. Okay, well, Commissioners, there is a sufficient factual basis in the record today and a at least cost estimate before you. The factual basis is sufficient for you under your current bid policy to declare a state of emergency, bypassing the local bid policy, because it sounds like from what I'm hearing is the repair is more than 10, but most likely less than 25. Your current bid policy requires bidding for any purchase or any purchases of $10,000 or more, not necessarily including labor. So I would recommend that the board adopt a motion declaring a state of emergency and authorizing up to $25,000 in repairs for the Womack Creek temporary repairs.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I will make that motion.
Okay.
And declare that as an emergency, authorizing up to $25,000 for the temporary repair of this bulkhead area. And I'd also like to add that we consider putting traffic safety signage information, if that's appropriate, during this period of time.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve
I'll second.
by Commissioner Bolt, second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion, Commissioners? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. That's in my district. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir?
Thank you, Clay.
Yes, sir.
Howard, do you have anything else, sir?
No, sir, that's it. Thank y'all, Commissioner Michael.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all too, Howard, for everything y'all do from day to day all across this county.
I've got something, Mr.
Yeah,
Holmes.
okay. We, thank y'all for helping with the alleyway on the island that had stuff in our right of way. Just it's all over, and a lot of times people just don't know how much you guys actually do. The assistance you gave us down at the boat ramp in East Point with stuff that was being worked on, y'all do stuff all over, and I thank you for it.
Yep.
Go ahead, Commissioner Ward.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Neighbors, for getting some signage out at Ryan Drive. I know it was real rough out there the other day, and a lot of cars is going over it and with the potholes. So thank you for getting some signage out there to alert the drivers it is a rough patch. It is going to get fixed. They're waiting for some asphalt, but hopefully soon that'll be a completed project. So thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am, you're welcome.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Howard, I'd like you to consider some safety signage applied to the intersection of Route 30 and 98, just east of Carabelle. As you know, that continues to be a chronic erosion area, and we do have, I think, approved funding from FEMA to begin the restoration of that project. But it just needs a little bit of a safety amendments now, maybe some barricades, some signage, et cetera, in that temporary area.
Yes, sir. We checked that this morning. I got the email.
Thank you.
But we had a couple of barricades there, but somebody picked them up, owed them an 80 to push it right there.
I thought so.
Yeah, but we got them back out and put the barricades back, make sure the lights and stuff working, then put sandbags on.
Okay, good. Thank
People
you.
can run over.
Anyone else? Howard, thank you and your crew for everything y'all do.
Thank y'all, Commissioner.
All right, up next, Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
All I have on my report this morning is just information item. The first one is the new hire and replacement position. Mr. Mark Custer has been hired for the replacement equipment operator position in solid waste. And we have two new hires, Mackenzie Wilson for the other equipment operator position and Mr. Keandre Sewell, groundskeeper in Parks and Recreation. And that's all I have for you this morning.
Want to have any questions, Mr. Davis?
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman. I do have something that I wanted to talk about. As we all know, we lost a precious little girl. We lost a lot of precious girls here lately in our recent months and weeks, but it was brought to my attention by Morgan Thompson, who is really involved with the ball playing at Vernon Park. And we got to talking and decided that maybe we can name something for Charlie Kate at Vernon Park. So we talked to her parents, Levi and Colette, and Levi's real involved with the youth baseball as well. So if it's okay, I'd like to make a motion to dedicate, and I have a sign that I'm gonna have made if this gets approval, to dedicate the playground at Vernon Park in memory of Charlie Kate Odom, who passed away tragically in a car accident on November the 5th of 2021. So I'd like to make a motion to do that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve this dedication by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Parrish. Any discussion, Commissioners, before we vote? Commissioner Ward, I would like to say under discussion, thank you. I think this is very appropriate, and all we can do is what we can do, but we need to do what we can. So thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to also note that the image that you see was designed by Amy Ham Kelly. So Charlie Kate loved unicorns, so it fits her perfectly. So I've got the sign being made right now, if this passes, to be displayed on the fencing out there at the playground at Vernon Park.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That is unanimous vote.
Way to go.
Thank you, guys.
Way to
Appreciate
go.
it.
Way to go.
Thanks, Mr. Davis. I'll get the
Thank
sign.
you.
When I get it, I'll get it to you guys. I'll go put it on the fence myself if I need to, but I don't know if y'all have a certain area y'all might want to put the sign, so I'll get with you when it gets ready.
That'll work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone have anything for Mr. Davis while he's here?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Fund, I want to be sure I was clear. First of all, the fenced-in area there at Lanark Village is very complimentary and seems to be working well, and the signage seems to be very instructional. I wanted to be sure I understood that the purpose, of course, of that fenced-in area for putting vegetation in the area is to keep primarily Oak Street clear of all of that material. With regard to property owners on the side streets going into and out of Lanark Village, is it appropriate for them to put their vegetation in front of their property in the right-of-way for pickup, and do we then pick it up? Two-part question.
Is it appropriate for them to put
Yeah,
it in front of their resident?
Yeah, and we would also pick it up as well on the side streets.
Well, Commissioner, you know it's congested in that area.
Yes.
It would help.
I'm not thinking of the apartments.
Okay.
As much as I am the other side streets like Florida and
Oh, yes.
Parker and that kind of thing.
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, so that, I just wanted to make sure of that. But the
Okay.
apartments certainly are congested, and they need to have a
That central location.
central location, which is where the fenced-in area is.
That's
for that.
correct.
Okay, just wanted to be sure we clarified that
Okay.
for everybody.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other commissioners?
If no other commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Erin has an item about the landfill that she needs to bring up
Okay.
while Fonda's here,
Want to do
since it says landfill. Now,
Yep.
just-
Well, it's the county's landfill, but we understand what you're saying, sir.
About the landfill?
This item was actually on your agenda because it was an item on my report. However, I did not have the proposal to attach when it was uploaded last night. So the 5-year operating permit renewal for the Franklin County landfill is due on February 28th. Dewberry Engineers has submitted a cost proposal for the renewal of $37,400. The landfill has been in operation since 1989, and the largest component of the permit renewal is the surveying of the volume of waste in the Franklin County landfill, as the permit is based on aerial space at a certain slope to a maximum height limit. The overwhelming volume of debris that was processed in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael may significantly reduce the remaining years of life at the landfill, and from this permit renewal, the county can use this data going forward to determine a long-term plan for the future. Board action to approve the Dewberry proposal for the landfill permit renewal, and I had discussed with Mr. Davis, I believe that we will be able to spend, to pay for approximately 50% of the permit renewal from his solid waste budget and the other 50% from the tipping fee fund.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lockley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bolt. And this is for $37,400? Okay. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Just hold on to
Aye.
that contingency if you would.
Sir?
What's that?
All opposed? That's unanimous. Sorry about that, sir. If we were trying to do something wrong, you should have told us a little bit
No, no,
quicker.
no. I was just saying, hold on to that contingency, you know, because my budget is,
Yep.
Oh, I'll bet.
yeah. Okay, that's it?
I do have a second item
Oh,
as
okay.
well, which was information. The St. George Island Old Restroom Building at Lighthouse Park. At your last meeting, Parks and Recreation Director Fonda Davis mentioned coming back to the board with a plan for the old restrooms at the SGI Lighthouse Park. After careful review and consideration of expense and demands at the park location, Mr. Davis would prefer to keep the old restroom building as an auxiliary restroom to be used during peak season of March 1st through September 30th of each year. The old restroom does have some issues with clogged drains, wood rot on the floor, and will need the full replacement of the drain field at a cost of about $9,000 to be ready for use this season. The public will be best served preserving the old location. Parks and Recreation can fund the repairs in this fiscal year to keep the restroom operational. However, any renovations beyond basic repair would not be possible until the following budget cycle. And then also, I know Mr. Davis has also had an issue brought to his attention in regards to the playground at Lighthouse Park, and right now that's kind of under review as well.
Yes. Okay, well, I will say this, where it's appropriate, whatever can be done, and if you give me that information, I'm happy to present to the TDC
Okay.
board, because there are funds there. And I mean, so, and it's not just about my district, it's about the county as a whole.
Sure.
But this is definitely, tourist-related stuff, so.
I didn't bring up about the playground equipment because it was just brought to our attention over the weekend.
Yes.
And I had a chance to go out and look at it yesterday. It is in bad shape. Myself and Aaron and Ms. Pat here, we went out and looked at it roughly about 2 months ago, that's what we figured. And from that time to now, we got a caution tape off, it's in bad shape.
Right.
So I don't know what happened to it. It's bad.
But Mr. Davis, is it all the equipment or just a certain piece? I mean, what are we looking at? This having to be caution taped off is what I mean.
The whole playground,
Okay.
it's the whole
Oh, wow.
thing.
Well, I know that the salt air doesn't do it any favors right there.
You're right.
No,
No.
that's right.
But I mean, it's not the best scenario, but it is better to have it taped off than it is for people to think it's good and usable and it's not.
That's correct.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Mr. Chairman, how many years ago did we replace that? playground equipment? Seems like
Aaron
we-
looked it up this morning, it was in 15. So 7 years?
Yeah,
right
we
at
only
7
got
years.
7 years out of the equipment. So.
That's a long time, because it seemed like me, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
really was, I mean.
Yeah.
It was right before I come on the
So
board.
is there a different way we need to go? Is there a different playground equipment that would last longer, or is this just a repetitive? You can say every 6, 7 years, you're gonna have to replace it.
Right, yeah.
Is
you
that
like it.
where we at?
That's right. Again, she looked back, it's been about every 7 years. But to answer your question about other routes or different type of material, that's something we're gonna research
Yeah,
and see if it's out there. Years back, people mentioned wood, but then, that's a safety
Yeah,
issue
it
too,
is.
once they start to wear the splinters and so forth. So, yeah, we're gonna check that out, Commissioner, and see if it's,
if it's feasible, Director Davis said almost would be better to find something that's made out of plastic or something that's not gonna, if it's feasible, I don't know.
Right.
No, I'm not a playground guru, I know the metal's not working too well, is all I'm saying.
right.
And we do have the pending FDOT grant application.
Yes, we do.
At this point, so that
Yes.
has cleared the first hurdle, but we just need
Yeah.
the legislature to appropriate funds.
Yes.
Let
Oh,
me-
yes, sir, go ahead.
Mr. Davis, will it be, instead of taping it off, will it be feasible to take it down? I mean, you can have
Yeah,
the
at this
tape
time,
on.
it's probably better to
Kids
dismantle
gonna
or
go across that tape.
Yeah,
to even the refurbish or repair right now is gonna be extremely high with the price of what welders get. So I don't see spending that kind of money. I hate it for the kids, but I just don't see spending that kind of money when we looking at a grant here soon.
what do we do to keep it safe, Go ahead, sir.
Wouldn't it be best to just take it down? Cause somebody gonna go in there, when you got that tape, somebody gonna go in there and try it.
Right.
Probably would be, Commissioner.
Uh,
Probably would be. It probably would be best to just take it down. I hate it because, but if it's not usable, it's not usable anyway. It's a safety issue, because you definitely don't want anybody's kids hurt. I don't want anybody's kids to get hurt.
Right.
Not on something that we could have taken care of. And I will say that when we were a couple of weeks ago up in Tallahassee for Legislative Day, we had a chance to sit down with Senator Osney and Representative Shove, and the commissioner, all of us that were there, mentioned this FDOT grant as one of the things we were talking points, not just for the island, but the other FDOT grant that's in as well for Room and Park. So,
Yeah, and I
Hopefully
apologize
see
for
some
not having
action.
it on my report, but I just hadn't had enough time to get
Yes,
it
sir.
together, so. But,
I
I
understand.
do agree with it. It's unsafe at the time.
I don't know how your Mondays are before commission meetings, but mine usually go by like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's what I experience, so
Mr.
I
Chairman?
understand. Yes, sir.
Given what Director Davis has put on the record about the unsafe equipment and just the board discussion about the inadequacy of taping, I would suggest that you get some fence webbing, like construction webbing, and that way you don't have to worry about people ducking under the tape.
Okay.
Well,
Put those little safety tabs on top of the rebar or whatever you want to use to put it in place till you can take it down.
Okay.
Yeah, till we can get to it, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing to note as well, the actual new playground set will actually be, proposed anyway, it will be
Yes.
located landward of the coastal construction control line, so it will actually be pulled back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If we have to take it down, Fonda, could we put a sign there saying, restoration coming shortly, or,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, to let people know that we're not just taking it down and it's gone, but
Yes.
there's actually plans to replace the equipment, however you wanna word it, but, so if kids go up there, they'll know that the playground's not gone forever, we're just waiting on funding and purchase some new equipment and put it back, so it gives the general public an idea of what we're doing.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Fonda, thinking about the older bathroom there on St. George, we were just talking about, somebody had an idea about adding a couple more diaper changing stations placed in that bathroom. Was that something appropriate we could do?
We can check into it.
Okay.
There should already be some in there, but yeah, we can
Okay.
check and see what's
Okay.
there.
we'll check it out.
Okay.
Yes,
great.
sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Man, the babies.
The babies?
Anyone else
Look
have
out
anything
for
for Mr. Davis? Fonda, thank you for everything you and your guys do and your workers do on behalf of the county.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you all for the support.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, up next, Ms. Pam Burnell, Emergency Management Director.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I do not have any action items today.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Pam while she's here?
I do. Mr.
Okay.
Pam, did you find out anything about them fire detectives?
Yes, sir. I talked to the Red Cross this morning, and yes, they do have some smoke detectors. She sent us a email, a web address, and a telephone number for people to call in so they can sign up, and then they'll get the smoke detectors down here.
Okay, would you put it on your website and put it on the county website? Because I got people have been asking.
Yes, sir. We'll also put it on our kiosk that's out there, and we're going to do some flyers and put them out to the post office.
Thank
You know,
Go ahead. sir.
thank you. To complement that point about smoke detectors, I have noticed that our fire department at Alligator Point is actually standing by to install those smoke detectors on behalf of people who want them. And it just occurred to me with this tragic fire that happened there on Wilderness Road here the last couple of weeks, there's a part of me that feels like we almost ought to bring them out to the people there and offer them actively. Here are smoke detectors. May we enter your home and install them? Just as a lesson learned as we go forward. Just a thought. Chime in if you want.
you. Put it in a motion, I said. If you put it in a motion.
I can put that motion in that we encourage our volunteer fire departments to proactively distribute and install smoke detectors in our counties, particularly in the vulnerable areas.
I second.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Please state your motion again, Commissioner Bolt. Let's make sure we got.
The motion would be that we would request that the volunteer fire departments in Franklin County, Florida, initiate a program to take the smoke detectors that have been provided here in this county and distribute them actively to residents in vulnerable areas in our county that need smoke detection assistance in their homes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I agree with your thinking process, but I'm wondering about the liability. If you can get volunteer fire departments to do this, and then somebody's house burns down because they claim that it was improperly installed or whatever, well, they didn't install them, so whoever installed them would that be a liability issue? That's my question.
I was looking across the bench there, so about to say. And one more question before you go, Attorney Schuler. Where are we getting these bulk of smoke detectors from?
I'm hearing the Red Cross. That's what I've heard.
That's what she said?
I
Okay.
don't know anything about the supply, but I would respectfully suggest that the board hold off and let Mr. Morone speak with the volunteer chiefs and find out, because
Okay.
they've got a lot on their plate already.
Yes, okay.
And I would just respectfully ask the board to defer and let Mr. Morone contact the chiefs, maybe get some input from them, and then discuss this at a future project. But there is already a program in place for the distribution and the availability of the smoke detectors, so there's still that plan moving forward. But then have Mr. Morone look at this potential new plan and then come back to the board at a future date.
And that's the spirit of why I spoke about this, and that's just fine. Let's just keep that thought in mind.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
So procedurally, are we going to retract our motions?
I'll
Are we
retract
gonna
that
vote, or
motion
what?
and,
Okay.
and defer administratively to that point.
Okay.
Right, second.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, that's good.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry.
While we have her on the line, I do
Yes.
have 2 grants that are actually relative to
Okay.
her department. I'd like to go ahead and bring
Let's
up.
do it.
Right, this is actually gonna be, item D on my report. Franklin County has received a FEMA Hazard Mitigation Program grant agreement for purchase of generators at strategic response locations. The grant award will fund 75% of the cost for large generators at the following locations: Franklin County EOC, the Apalachicola Regional Airport, Weems East Medical Clinic, Weems Hospital, and the Franklin County Courthouse. The match for the surface-mounted hardwired generators will be funded by a grant provided by the Department of Economic Opportunity. The match for the portable trailer-style generator unit for the courthouse will be funded by the courthouse maintenance budget. So these will actually, most of the funding will be 100% for the other
That's
generators.
great.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Parrish, second by 2, Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Lockley. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, item E, Franklin County has received a modification to the agreement for the Hurricane Loss Mitigation Program between the Division of Emergency Management and Franklin County. All funds have already been obligated in this project. The attached modification simply extends the expiration date of the project from December 31st to June 30th, 2022. Board action to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the attached Hurricane Loss Mitigation Program modification to agreement.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
What exactly is that?
That was
The
actually.
modifications on what?
The modification simply extends the time because I know,
Okay.
yeah, that the emergency management department, there was some inspections that needed to be completed on some of the housing. That was kind of what they're still trying to work through.
Bless you.
Bless
So
you.
moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second?
second by Commissioner Bolt. Any discussion, Commissioners?
What house are you talking?
Say again, sir?
What house are they talking about?
He was asking which houses.
They were actually private residents. Pam can probably speak up on that, as far as where the houses were located. I believe they were pretty much equally distributed around the county. Pam, are you still there?
Yes. Yes, we equally distributed them. Again, we only had so much money. If we go back and look at our data, we have retrofitted more houses in Apalachicola than we have in the county.
So,
Oh, you talking about them tops and stuff?
yeah, the mitigation.
Yes, so we're talking about putting shutters and roofs.
Y'all gonna do it this year?
That program is over with. Legislation decided not to fund that anymore. So when we finish up what we have here, get those 2 final inspections on those 2 houses so the county can get reimbursed, we're done. There won't be any more funding from legislation for hurricane loss mitigation.
Okay.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous. Was that it, Aaron?
That's it.
Okay.
I'll stop interrupting now.
Oh, no, you're not interrupting, you're good. We all have a lot of business to take care of, and that's all we're trying to do. Listen, Ms. Pam, I have a question while you're still here with us. I'm trying to find the number again. Item M on your informational packet, you're hosting a public information officer class in April. And
Yes, sir.
that's a 5-day class, so is it 8 hours a day? What are we looking at?
I don't think it feels like it's a 3-day class.
It's, did you write that?
It should, if I did it with a mistake, it's a 3-day class. It'll be from 8:30 till.
Jenny, you had to come around.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Jenny
Okay.
set that class up, and she said she thinks she did a typo in there.
Okay,
Good morning, Commissioners. The
Good morning.
class should be a 3-day class. It's an L105, if I'm not mistaken.
that's right.
And it should be 3 days, and it'll be like 8 to 5. But we'll put out the actual full information on dates, times, everything as soon as, when we get a little bit closer.
Okay, well, I'm glad you put it on here for today, even though it's a couple of months away. But yeah, whatever the clarifying points are, let's please make sure we let that be known ahead of time in case anybody wants to take advantage of it.
Hey, Jenny, can I follow up with the chairman? What exactly is L105? What is that? What is that?
Public information officer class. The class used to be, from my understanding, a 5-day course, and they have actually consolidated it down into a 3-day. And it actually gives you the what you would need to know to be a public speaker for whatever organization you're representing.
Also, this is in general. It's not specific to emergency management.
No,
this is
No, sir. No,
Yes.
whoever the board has as their PO officer for the board, Michael, if that's you, then you probably need to attend this class.
I guess so. That's one more thing for me to do. Yay. Yes.
Where will it be held?
Yeah.
What
Here,
venue?
here at the EOC.
You have enough room for all those people?
We have a space for 30-something people in here. I don't think we'll have that many.
I see.
That's
Since we're paying for this one, we are limiting it to Franklin County first. So.
Yeah. Since that is this training, we are paying for it. It's coming out of our budget. We are limiting it to Franklin County agencies first.
Good.
Before we open it up to anybody else.
Okay.
Good. Maybe somebody from each county department, and if you reach out to the constitutional officers, maybe somebody from there should attend too. That's a good thing. Okay, thank you.
We will push it out to every department, even the constitutional officers, so they can take advantage of this. Again, like I said, this is, coming out of our budget that we're paying for this training ourselves.
We actually have several classes coming up at the next.
Well, if you don't have no room out there, you got room out here into this.
They got this room too, Commissioner.
Yeah. We got other rooms, you can always, if you ain't got enough room out there.
Sounds good. That's fine. I just want to make sure everybody was. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you got my attention to that. I was going to make a sheriff joke, but I'll hold that till later.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Anyone have any questions or concerns other than these with Miss Pam while she's still here? Miss Pam, thank you and your crew for everything you do for the county, trying to keep us storm ready and ready to with information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Staff gonna teach that class?
No. No. Thank you, Ms. Pam. All right,
You're welcome.
Mr. Eric Lovestrand, Extension Office Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mr. Eric.
I don't have anything for you today.
All right. Anyone have any questions or concerns for Mr. Eric while he's here? Mr. Eric, thank you. We appreciate you for everything you do on behalf of Franklin County.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Yes, sir. All right, Ms. Whitney Roundtree, Library Director.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine. Go ahead, Ms. Whitney.
Hey, okay, this morning, I am, it says closed, but actually what I'd like to do is I'm requesting permission to adjust, the library branch's hours for Monday, February 7th. It's for, Wilderness Coast staff development today. So what we do, we'd only be open from 9 to 1. That way we could have the afternoon to attend the event. It's an annual event hosted by Wilderness Coast Public Libraries to help employees hone their skills, reestablish relationships with their coworkers, and ignite new interest in projects and goals. So it's really about training and team development, that kind of stuff.
And this would be at both libraries?
Yeah, both libraries would only be open from 9 to 1. We'd advertise it and make sure that we had signage and time to, let the public know that we will only be open half a day.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Parrish.
Second.
Second by two, Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Bolt. Any discussion, Commissioners? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
And the next thing I need is, Mr. Chairman, I need your signature. This is for our certification of hours for free library services and access to materials. This is just a certification for our state grant application. It's just to certify that we are open 40 hours a week, that we offer free Wi-Fi and free access to materials.
Okay.
So move.
We have a motion to approve that signature by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bolt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's a 5-0 vote.
The Friends of the Library, they had their book sale in January here at the East Point branch. It was very successful. Thank you to everyone in the community that came out and supported us. They'll be having another book sale in Carabelle. So Carabelle's will be Saturday, February 19th at 10 a.m. All proceeds benefit the continuing services of the library. Hoping we'll have some nice weather. Maybe we can have it outside. So looking forward to that. I also forgot to include it in my report, but I will send an email out to all of you inviting you to our ribbon cutting ceremony. The Friends are hosting their ribbon cutting ceremony for the new gazebo here at East Point. It's going to be February 10th at 4 p.m. And like I said, I'll send out an invite to all of you. And then another thing we've got going on that's new is we've partnered with the Department of Children and Families to have a care navigator on site. So a care navigator is a part of Hope Florida Pathway to Prosperity. It's one-on-one support to help individuals in the community to help plan and achieve economic self-sufficiency. So a care navigator will be on site every week. They'll be at the Carabelle branch on Wednesdays from 9 to 4, on East Point branch on Thursdays from 9 to 4. So any questions about that?
No, thank you for letting us know about it, though. That is good.
Yeah. And then I've been in communication about maybe getting someone from the Access Florida side of things, so we could have possibly someone on site to help people fill out, their, Medicaid and food stamp I cannot talk today. Food stamp applications. So it'd be really nice if we can get someone on board to help us out with that too. And that's all I have for you today.
Okay, I have a question, Whitney.
Yes, sir.
I don't know the cycles, and you might already be in one, and we just don't know about it, or I just don't know about it. The program we've been doing for the last several years, Music as a Second Language, is that currently happening, or is it about to start happening?
Working with, because we did have the resurgence of COVID.
Yep.
And we did have it go around the libraries. I've got to touch base with the teachers and make sure that they're still comfortable doing in-person lessons. We may have to switch to maybe some sort of virtual lessons.
Right.
But we're working on it. Hopefully we can still get it going.
Yeah, I think that's, not that they're not good programs at the library, but that is a really just outstanding program.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in a rural community such as ours, where sometimes the availability is hard to come by, having that ability for kids to be able to learn music, I think is a really good thing to have.
Absolutely. We're still trying to make it happen.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Yes.
If you guys are good? Whitney, what about taxes? Any assistance to help with filling out taxes this year?
Yeah, AARP's not doing it this year, not in person. Okay. I did have a lady reach out to me that she might be able to set up something for assistance. So I've got to check in with her and see what all that entails, and then maybe we'll be able to offer something.
Okay, let me know and I'll add that to the county's main page, the front page on the website, okay?
Yeah.
I know that's important. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns from Ms. Whitney while she's here? Whitney, thank you for being here today, and thank you for everything y'all do to help support our public and our children, and as well as the adults that use our libraries.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I can interrupt, so I just spoke to the Corps of Engineers. I can give you an update. It's not necessarily the best news. The Corps' barge hit the Hathaway Bridge over in Bay County, and so it's a little slow getting here. That's one bit bad news. And then the other bit of news is it's not the dredge that we're going to use. This is a much bigger dredge. So it'll be coming over doing the intercoastal. Wayland is having to revise some drawings based upon the comments that I mentioned earlier about the consortium, so he's working on those. He still could not give me a timeline on the smaller dredge that'll be coming our way, but the dredge that's coming over here is a little slightly delayed but won't be the dredge we're using on our channels because it's a much bigger dredge.
Okay.
As soon as I hear something, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
That was the right one to hit it.
Yeah, at least not on it.
Yeah, at least it wasn't our bridge. Golly. Interim Airport Manager, Mr. Ted Mosteller, you are next, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners, staff. I have no action items this morning. However, a few late comments, if I may. We did meet with John Collins and Michael Wednesday, the 26th, for a very productive update discussion on pending projects and issues. John reported that he had received an extension past June of the FDOT grant for the apron update, and in order that extension would make it possible for the FAA grant, which would come on board at the same time, to increase the funds for those projects. And John is scheduled to be present for the March 1st Board of County Commission meeting to address the board. Another item, I am in the process of working with the FBO and on reported T-hanger issues of doors malfunctioning and leaking roofs. Anticipating meeting with Andrew and Michael. Any questions? If not, I'll turn it over to Michael here. This Michael.
Yeah, before Ted goes, let me read that from my report, but from my report, what Ted was referring to, we're on page 10, item A, 16A. In order to combine current FDOT funds, which expire on June 30th, 2022, with upcoming FAA funds that won't be available until June or July of 2022 for an apron rehab project at the airport, AFCON, on behalf of the county, applied for an amendment for extension of public transportation grant agreement so that one construction contract could be issued, which will combine both sets of funds to complete the work, and so the FDOT funds could be used to fulfill the 10% match required for the FAA funds. FDOT sent that agreement yesterday. So we're going to use the FDOT funds to be the match, but the problem is they expire at the same time the FAA funds are available to us. So if you guys sign off on this extension, we can use the FDOT funds for another year along with the FAA funds. It'll put both on the same timeline, right? We good?
Gotcha.
Will both of them be enough?
Yes. John said we're good.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lockley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bolt. Any discussion, Commissioners, on the signature approval? All right, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
And Commissioners, Ted is correct. That meeting with Ted and John, myself, was really good, really productive. So in following suit with what Commissioner Ward had asked for, when Clay comes in and gives every 3 to 6 months, gives another, John is going to start doing the same thing about the airport. So we'll know the status of all the airport grants and stuff that's going on up there, because there's a lot going on. We were here for quite a little while. Very productive, very good meeting.
Good.
That's it.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or concerns for Mr. Ted while he's here? Thank you, Ted. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. All right, up next, Mr. Quentin Eastberg from the Appalachia Regional Planning Council to talk about transportation. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Quentin Eastberg, Deputy Director, Appalachia Regional Planning Council. Have the privilege of working with Commissioner Bolt on the Transportation Disadvantage Board in the county, and Commissioner Jones represents the county at the Regional Planning Council level there. Interested and looking forward to working with the rest of you. It's kind of the reason I'm here today. We're talking about the FDOT's Transportation Regional Incentive Program. I think Mr. Barone has a little quick fact sheet in your packet for you. What this is a basically a pot of money that's available to communities that enter into a regional transportation area. This is achieved through an interlocal agreement between either multiple contiguous MPOs, which are more urbanized areas, or in the rural communities, at least 2 non-MPO contiguous counties. There existed in the past, I think it was signed back in 06 or 07, an agreement way before my time with the council, an agreement between Franklin County and Liberty County, and there also existed another one between Jackson, Calhoun, and Gulf counties. I've been in conversations with FDOT District 3, and neither of those agreements have put in any applications in near 10 years. And in rekindling this process, they had mentioned maybe we kind of look at bringing the region together to look at, again, economic development opportunities, transportation, corridors and things like that. It kind of involves all 5 rural counties in the Appalachia region here, west of Tallahassee. So that's what I'm here for today, to discuss the TRIP partnership, answer any questions, promote it. It's something that, like I said, has existed in the past. There is a 50% match component that I've been working with the department on to figure out if for our RAOs and our ready counties, if that's something that can be waived or otherwise. But again, initially it's no cost to the county. It's simply an agreement to enter into an interlocal agreement and a partnership with the other counties that allows you to be eligible for an additional for a new pot of funding. It's not one of those that costs money up front. As projects come down the pipe, the way this would work, as I've understood it with my conversations with DOT, is that we would have one representative from each county to serve as a primary, and then an alternate. We'd meet annually as the counties go through, would apply for their own projects and things like that through the whoever your county engineer is or however that works within the county. And then at the staff level, and that's what the proposal in the interlocal agreement is, the Regional Planning Council would simply serve as staff to this transportation area. We convene a meeting, and basically what the Transportation Regional Incentive Program does is prioritize our regional projects. And has each county basically saying, yep, this is our number one, we definitely need a 4-lane 65 as an evacuation route, or we definitely want to, do something along 98 to help incentivize, whatever kind of transportation we're looking at there. So it's not, again, something you have to put a project in every year. It's simply opening a new door for potential for funding. In talking with DOT, it is an underutilized program. I think it's because of the match component in our rural communities. It's been underutilized, but they do give back in District 3. I think she said over $1 million the last several years of unused funding. So with that being said, that's kind of the down and dirty with what the program is. I'm here to answer any questions and talk about that. There is an application that Gulf County put in. That's why Mr. Marone was gracious enough to get me on the board today. The deadline's later in the month of February for projects. It's an annual program, so as projects come up, but there has to be an interlocal agreement in place in order for Gulf County to be able to apply. And like I said, it's been a dormant program that was brought to our attention. So we said, well, let's see if we can't get this rekindled and brought before the board.
So, Streetsburg, today you would be looking for this, if we made a motion, it would be to enter this interlocal agreement with the ARPC or with the other counties. What are we doing?
Yes, sir. So the interlocal agreement is to form a regional transportation area, an RTA, with the 5 counties, having the ARPC serving as the lead agency, basically staff to that executive committee of the RTA. And then if that's something you're willing to do, then we would just need to then have another, I guess, vote to appoint who the county representative would be on that committee. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, I forwarded that interlocal to the commissioners earlier and to Attorney Schuler. He has reviewed it.
Right, okay. Yeah, I will say this before we start taking any action. Serving on behalf of you, commissioners, and behalf of this county on the ARPC, this is one of the things we've desperately needed because we're not a part of anybody's transportation planning agency. If I've had people ask me personally, well, Wakulla's getting all kind of road pavement. Well, they're part of Capital Regional Transportation Planning Agency.
Yes.
They have somebody they're joined to help have an ask together. So we're kind of, for lack of a better term, we're down at the end of the cul-de-sac. So we got, I think this is a step in the right direction for us, but those are just my thoughts. Because we're going to be joined with some other small counties that are like we are, and we can start fighting for, I'm happy that the DOT is about to do the road between East Point and Carabelle. It's been bad for a long time. That happened during Hurricane Dennis. That was what, 07, 06? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
So it is my hope going forward, because I'm not always going to be on this commission, we have things in place that are going to help so citizens don't have to wait till we can be gotten to, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
And I'm not trying to shed light on DOT or anybody else, but we're by ourselves. This is going to help us be kind of joined together with transportation.
And Mr. Chair, if I may as well, part of the inclusion in the interlocal agreement Once the interlocal agreement has been executed, staff's responsibility will be to develop a regional transportation plan that includes mapping the infrastructure, where the projects are going to go, things like that. I've had conversations, with some of the other counties already and so forth, and we've got approval. Gulf County signed on last week, and I'm meeting with Calhoun this afternoon to pitch the same idea. And I think it can get creative with some of the stuff. The projects themselves don't have to be cross-county lines. It can be a project wholly contained within Franklin County, as long as it serves the initiative of the program, which does promote economic development, corridor management, strategic intermodal system, something like that can be wholly contained within the county. But as I understand the program to work, and I'm still learning about it, say we have a project that goes into another county, whether that's Gulf County, Liberty County, wherever, if that's including, broadening, 4-laning the highway or something, and some of that goes across county line, that's where this regionalism comes in and say, okay, well, there's only 25% happening in Franklin, or 50% of the projects in Franklin, so maybe we only have to pay 25% of the match. The other county covers 25, and then the state covers the other 50. And again, I'm still working on that match component for the RAOs, so we're still working on that. And I'm also trying to figure out if it's only for surface transportation, as far as like roadways, or if we can look into railways or other kinds of modes of transportation as well, because that does involve economic development.
The airport? Is that a possibility?
I would have to talk with DOT. I know a lot of this involves specifically the highway system.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at it, I can't imagine that, if we're moving things either by freight or even by a barge even or something, going up and down Apalachicola. I know we've got some locks going up and down there that probably need some repairs after talking with some of the river folks. So I think this project might be able to open this up with DOT, because again, a lot of the funding has gone unused. So we might be able to get creative, still working, getting some answers on some of those more special projects.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we get this agreement to combine all 5 counties together to interconnect this region and provide a combined force, if you will, all cooperating together to get some of these projects moving forward. And I have a comment after that.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve this interlocal agreement.
Yes,
by
sir.
Commissioner Bolt.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ward.
Discussion.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Good, thank you.
What the biggest county in that?
The biggest county by geographical size or by population?
It don't matter.
Probably both. Both.
I would probably think, definitely by size and number of roadway miles, I think would be Jackson County. I think they've got the biggest size. As far as population, I'm not 100% sure the population, but again, the 5 counties would be Calhoun, Franklin Gulf, Jackson, and Liberty. So all for the most part, very rural counties.
Well,
More people. I would think Gulf County would have more people.
Yeah.
Maybe Jackson, I don't know how big Jackson
Probably,
is.
yeah.
Jackson's a big county by land, so it may have more people too.
But Jackson,
Okay.
but you talking about a 4-lane, which we need one on 65 or 67 or somewhere up there, coming off the interstate, but Jackson has already got a 4-lane, and we losing a lot of work
Mhm.
because of that. We don't have a 4-lane.
Correct.
Because it take too long for trucks to come in and go back out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We on the east side of the interstate, 10, east or west.
Right.
If we go east or west, you come down, it's gonna take you 4 hours to get down to here. You're losing too much money for a trucking company.
A lot of time, a lot of money. Yes, sir.
So,
And I think that's one of the things we can look at, as we go through the way the program's worked in other areas throughout the state is a lot of times the county would put in, an application for a project they're looking for. But I think that's where the agreement can come in place to say, hey, look, I know you guys are kind of, down on the south side of the region here, and we're going to have to either go through a Gulf or Liberty County to get up to the interstate, but partnering with those counties and then prioritizing. And that's really the The gist of this program, where it's a little bit different, is we have the elected officials that serve on the executive committee, and this year we've only got one application, and that came from Gulf County. But let's say next year we've got 6 applications. We would go through and prioritize and rank those and score those based on merit when it comes to what has the most economic development, what has the best access to the strategic intermodal system for DOT, things like that. And then we bring that before the board for discussion, and then we would prioritize that and send that to District 3 and say, this is our project. Number 1 project in the region is to say, I'm just, for hypothetical, 4-laning 65, all the way from 98, all the way north. And then once we send that to DOT District 3, we've got everything in Escambia County and Bay County that adds. So that might be our number 1, but it might be the district's 7th initiative. Yep. And then they send it to the state, and it might drop to the 57th initiative. But funding has been earmarked already for each district. So as long as that funding is there, and we said this is our number 1 priority, that allows DOT to understand where the county, where they want to see the money going, rather than that you guys have some skin in the game and some say where it goes, rather than just folks coming and say, okay, we're going to do this, but you guys want this project. That's why the incentive.
If we do become a member, I would like to see us be able to come out the box and not all the counties get, just one county get, 1 or 2 counties get all the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Sure.
Is there any kind of guarantee where we're going to equal this thing out? Well, I know they got, if they set up good, they post.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them being free, but I don't see them being all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing.
Right. And I think that's where you're going to get out of this program that what you want to put into it, in the sense that being a member is just simply opening the doorway to open a new pot of money, and it's going to be up to the county how they want to go after that. You guys know the county better. I'm more than happy to work with your county and your engineers and stuff like that. I'm not an engineer, so I won't be able to do any of the figuring out cost estimates or stuff like that. But in that regional plan, we can access and say, these are our primary points, 98, 65, these are the areas that we want to see improvements, and have those, listed as primary concerns, moving forward. And then you all would be able to tell this group when we get together, it says, listen, on 98, we want to come up with a new way to keep it from getting washed out all the time in every storm. We want to put, whatever infrastructure, something like that, is how you go through and prioritize those projects.
To get it.
Right.
To get that from being washed away, you got to put the road back public, and they don't want to do that. But I'm talking about, is we going to have a chance that we going to get a project?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, down the line, it might be 5 years, might be 10 years, but is we gonna be guaranteed the project some way down the line?
You're saying once you put a project into the work plan through DOT? Right, DOT has a 5-year work plan. So if that project went through to DOT and they check it off, it's like saying, yes, this project is buildable, it goes into that 5-year plan. Now, it may be, what are we on, 20? So it might be 2027, it gets scheduled for construction, and if they get money earlier, they move it up. But once it's in that work plan, it shouldn't leave that work plan. It should be constructed within that 5-year time period.
Okay.
But we have to get it to that point,
I just want
right?
to guarantee we gonna get a plan before somebody else, they'll say, well, they got a better plan.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us,
Right.
just do a little something for us. Give us a piece of pie.
Mm-hmm.
We want a piece of pie.
Yep, that's what we're trying to do,
Not all
right.
the rest of them get it all the time.
Right.
We get hungry too.
Yes, sir. Everybody's got to eat.
Commissioner, I think what's going to be beneficial for all of these smaller counties, and it's just my take on it. So Jackson County's already got the interstate going through it. So, I mean, what we're talking about is going to be opposite of that, or in addition to that.
Yeah.
So if we were going back in time and they didn't have an interstate, they're bigger and they're trying to get the interstate, that's going to push all the rest of us back. But they've already got that. So I think it's going to be on equal footing going forward. Commissioner Bolt, do you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Quentin, I really appreciate the fact that you have resurrected this transportation regional incentive program and found that very creative. And what you have found, in my opinion, and you have developed all of us as 5 counties together, if I can use the word, it's like a political administrative fellowship. Suddenly, we get to be bonded with 4 other counties, and we all march in lockstep for a particular common goal. And that, Commissioner Noah, it gets us to the table where we want to be able to do some of these goals, I think, and complement what you just said. So I'm really in favor of that. I think this is a modern way to go, too, in terms of pleading to the sources of funding that here are 5 bonded counties lockstep together, looking for a common goal, on the same page, looking for some money. And I think that gives us a tremendous advantage. I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion before we vote?
I've been to the table. We still didn't get nothing. I've been there. Back in the day. It was a different company.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
Thanks, sir.
Is that all you needed today, sir?
Do you want to appoint someone to that executive committee so I can start that process for the review of the one application we received for this year?
No.
That would be the only other thing. So I've got,
Okay.
Mr. Rowan's got the interlocal, and I'll send him a signature page, for your signature. And then the only other thing was who would be my point of contact from the board to join us on that executive committee.
Okay. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, one more thing, just a separate subject, Quentin.
Yes.
Would it be possible for you to research and try to find out in the intra-network of the transportation services specifically, how many people are getting transportation for kidney dialysis programs within 3 contiguous counties around here? I know you don't know that number off the top of your head, but could you do some research to give us an idea of how many folks are out there running around looking for kidney dialysis services that might need some
Sure.
focus?
So Franklin County, Gulf County, and what's the third county you want me to look into?
Let's see. I would think we can look at Wakulla County as well.
Wakulla. Okay.
Just to see where that is. Franklin, Gulf, Calhoun as well.
I can take a look through the region.
Yeah,
I'll add even Liberty County to it. I'll call the transit directors and see if they have those numbers on how many go to the dialysis institutes. That might be one of our quicker ways to figure that out. I know that's going to limit. I can get that number through the transit agencies. The numbers we're not going to be able to know, I think. And was that Dr. David, I think, from Weems? I think he was talking about, the ones I won't be able to figure out are who drives themselves.
Right.
That'll be the only
that's a good
question. That would probably have to go through.
Yeah.
That would probably have to go through the center, and I'm not sure. If that's HIPAA.
That's
I don't know
HIPAA
anything
stuff.
about
Yeah.
that. So I mean,
Okay.
can we ask how many people drive them? So I don't know what you can find out on
That's
that,
true.
but I can ask the transit agencies how many did you transport. Because they have those on fixed, basically, fixed in the system 3 days a week.
Thank you.
Right, so,
Sure.
so the question you're asking, Commissioner Bolt, the information we're talking about getting is the people that the Transportation Disadvantaged program, that we know that they're taking them to dialysis.
That's what that's
Recess for 5 Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Up next would be Ms. Erin Griffin, Fiscal Manager Grants Coordinator.
Okay. All right, item A, Franklin County received a SCOP grant agreement from the Florida Department of Transportation for Phase 1 of the Wilmette Creek culvert repairs on CR 67. This is for the permanent repairs that were discussed with the way we needed the emergency repairs earlier. So this is going to be the permanent repairs of that location. This phase entails a survey, design, permitting, and the development of the construction plan, specifications, and bid documents for the construction of new head walls, cleaning and repairing the arch corrugated metal pipes, and the addition of barrier walls to replace the guardrails over the culvert. As Franklin County follows the Consultants Competitive Negotiation Act in selecting engineering firms for design improvements, the ongoing county engineering contract with Dewberry in Florida Statute 287.055 allows for the county to negotiate with the contracted engineer for the CR 67 Wilmette Creek repairs. Staff negotiated with Dewberry and recommends accepting the attached $108,189 proposal. Board action to approve the attached proposal and authorize the chairman to sign.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bolt,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion, Commissioners, before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Item B, in 2021, Franklin County entered into construction contracts for the FEMA-funded repairs of Alligator Drive with Anderson, Columbia, the East Point Fishing Pier washout repairs, North Florida Construction, and the repairs of the C30 washouts, Pygate Asphalt and Site Work. Per FEMA policy and guidelines, the attached contract addendum incorporates the required provisions and terms which are to be included in all contractual agreements for services in connection with the response and recovery efforts from an emergency disaster event. This agreement addendum and its provisions were adhered to during the activation of the contract, even though not on the original executed contract before the disaster between the contractors and the county. Board action to formally approve the addendum to agreement between owner and contractor for construction contracts with Anderson, Columbia, North Florida Construction, and Pygate Asphalt and Site Work for FEMA-funded repairs, and authorize the chairman to sign.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Parrish,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bolt. Commissioners, do you have any discussion?
How long that thing gonna take?
We're getting close, Mr. No. Yeah, the repairs on Alligator Drive are supposed to be 100% complete and final bill received in April. We actually have the C30 project is under construction now. We anticipate that being completed very soon, and actually East Point Fishing Pier, the repairs are actually complete on that right now, and then we anticipate going out to bid at the end of the month for Island View Park, and that's going to be our last, large-scale repair that we'll be under contract for.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0 vote, unanimous.
Okay, item C, the grant-funded project for the widening and resurfacing of the 6.044 miles of CR 67 from SR 30 to the Cricket Creek Bridge is now complete. Change order number 2 was approved as the final change order in December, but further reductions in the final quantities have resulted in the need for another reduction by change order number 3. Change order number 3 is a final reduction for quantities and materials for a further reduction of $66,629.80 in the contracted price with C.W. Roberts. Board action to approve and authorize the chairman to sign change order number 3 for a further cost reduction with C.W. Roberts Contractors for the final quantity reconciliation on the CR 67 Scott project.
So move with comment.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bolt,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Bolt, please proceed.
Are you saying we saved some money here
We did. Yeah.
to the tune of $66,000?
Actually, $66,000 for this change order, and the previous change order, which we thought was going to be the final reconciliation, was a cost reduction of $55,000.
How about that? Good.
Every once in a while,
Mhm.
something goes
Yep,
right.
everyone. Yep, I like that.
Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That is unanimous.
Item F, which is attached are 2 resolutions authorizing the chairman to sign the grant applications for the 2 transportation alternatives project the county is applying for this year. the widening, resurfacing, safety, and ADA improvements for the SGI multi-use path between 6th Street East and 7th Street West, and the construction of a multi-use path along River Road in Carabelle. The board has ranked the SGI multi-use path improvements first and the River Road multi-use path second on the priority list. A public meeting was held last year for input on the River Road multi-use path, but one will need to be advertised for the SGI multi-use path improvements, and you actually get grants. You actually get points on your grant applications when you hold those meetings. It is recommended that the board authorize the adoption of the attached 2 resolutions and authorize the advertisement of a public meeting for the SGI path project.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Parrish. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, next item G, the Franklin County Sheriff's Department has requested assistance from the board to replace 2 message boards. The current message boards in use by the Sheriff's Department are around 20 years old and have become costly and difficult to maintain. As the interim rule for the American Rescue Plan does not go into effect until April 1st, purchases with ARP funds should be directly related to COVID response and outreach at this time. That's going to be pending clarification with Tracy Busby and Michael Marone. As the message boards will likely be an allowable expense, the staff recommends going out to bid for replacing the 2 message boards at the Sheriff's Department with anticipated funding provided by the American Rescue Plan once the final rule goes into effect. And the reason why we're actually proceeding with the advertisement is because it's going to take, likely a month and a half for us to even get, the bid solicitations back, and then we'll await awarding the contract. Whereas the clerk's records was actually done as part of a GSA contract, so we did not need to go out for bid for that. So,
All right,
board action.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lockley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bolt.
Question?
Yes, sir.
Are these going to be the oversized message boards, the ones that are really large?
Those are going to look exactly like the ones that are used by our emergency management department.
One more question.
Yes.
If we go out for bid for these now and the final rule's not done until April, so we're in February now, so be March when you get it, is that bid still gonna be good?
Actually, the bid specifications will require that to be so.
Okay, okay, good.
Any other questions or concerns, Commissioners, before we vote? Bless you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
Next, item H. At the December 7th meeting, Franklin County signed an auction agreement with Florida Auction Network. The auction will be held on Saturday, February 19th at 9:00 a.m. at the Franklin County Road Department, located at 376 Highway 65 in East Point. There will be a chance for interested parties to preview the items the day before the auction if interested. The auction flyer is attached to this report with the auctioneer's contact information. Attached is a list of surplus equipment and vehicles that county departments have requested to be included. Board action to approve of the removal from inventory and authorize the sale of the attached list of surplus equipment at the upcoming auction to be held on February 19th. And departments will also have a second chance at your next meeting to include any additional items.
Okay.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bolt and Commissioner Lockley. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous. Aaron, I do want to ask a question. What about, does that also include, it might be different, I don't know. Does that also include vehicles that the Sheriff's Department will be getting rid of?
Actually, it's my understanding that the sheriff is going to submit about 3 vehicles.
To this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I've had people ask me about how they process, and I said, I think they do it all together. So.
Yeah, we do have several ambulances are on that list from Weems Hospital.
Yep.
And then I know the auctioneer is going to reach out to the city of Apalachicola and also the Franklin County School Board to see if they have anything to include as well. So.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of jumped in, hopped around this time. So.
Yeah, I thought you had something else going on. Anyone else have any questions or concerns for Ms. Aaron? Thank you. Mr. Morone, you're up next, sir,
All
County
right.
Coordinator.
Commissioners, we are on page 10, and we already did item A, so let's go on to item B at your last meeting. Commissioner Bolt asked about placing informational signs at each county park or other location that is part of a repair or new construction project to provide the public with the project status. As an option, I suggested to Commissioner Bolt that we create a web page on our website dedicated to the status of county projects. That web page could include the project's funding source, where the project is currently, as in relations to engineering and design, advertising for bids, construction phase, etc., and a timetable. If you agree with this option, is there additional information that you would like on this web page? And so basically, I would be taking kind of like what Clay says and what Aaron says. Even when John Collins from AFCON comes to you, give you an airport update as to those projects, we could just put all of that on one web page, commissioners. And so if anybody says, well, what's going on with this project? Send them straight to the county's website. It's right there. You can look it up and find out.
Michael, is this just gonna include stuff with the Parks and Recs Department, or it's all the projects that are ongoing?
I would say all the projects, Commissioner.
Because, I mean, about a month ago, Mr. Clay Kenny from Dewberry brought his stuff and had the whole list of everything that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's a great idea.
The list that
Yeah.
like I said, John Collins is gonna bring you a similar list like that as it relates to
Yes.
the airport and any other projects outside of that, Commissioners, that's going on. It's a place.
I like that a lot.
Information pays for the public, so I wanna make sure everybody's good with that instead of going through the signs at individual locations.
Yeah, well, the signs would be a whole lot more work, honestly.
Yep.
But I think the webpage and putting it all together would be great, because listen, here's the thing, people, you can't over-communicate and people just want to be informed. They want to know the information, the up-to-date information, and I think that would be very good for us. That's my take on it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people put things on social media, that's all you basically have to do, Commissioners, is take a hot link from the webpage and paste it on there and say, hey, go here for all the information. It'll be that easy.
Good.
Okay, so everybody's good with that? Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Everything else I have is informational items. The DEP violation, I'll just tell you rather than read out the whole narrative. So before I had a chance to send that letter out as the board asked, the couple came to meet with the chairman and kind of informed the chairman that they were pretty much going to make sure that they do whatever DEP told them to do. And they did not want any issues, and they realized that the county was watching also. So I didn't even have a chance to send a letter out, but I needed to put that on the record because I did not send that letter out that the board directed me to, okay?
Yeah, Michael, I do want to clarify some stuff about that. So, not that this is inaccurate, I just want the public to be aware of kind of how it transpired. So, this couple was meeting with me about a potential project in the commercial district of the island. And I was just discussing, look, these are some of the things we're dealing with, you know what I mean? Make sure they know what's going on. And when I mentioned this DEP stuff, the gentleman was like, we know all about it, because that's actually us.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify
that's
for the
good.
record, that's how it came about.
Good. Actually, that worked out for the best, though.
Yes, sir.
Item D, at the bottom of the page, the State Fire Marshal's office has confirmed their appearance for your May 3rd regular meeting. They're asking for at least 45 to 50 minutes, as they plan to bring a representative from the Insurance Service Office to provide tips on lowering high insurance rates as part of their presentation. I plan to schedule a 1:30 p.m. workshop, similar to today's workshop, to allow for their presentation and opportunity for the board questions and comments. So remember that May 3rd, that's when the State Fire Marshal will be here, along with ICO representatives.
Good.
Duke Energy has informed the county, by county staff, of the following. First, a planned outage to repair power facilities on Tuesday, February 8th, beginning at 9 a.m. for approximately an hour, with an alternate date of Wednesday, February 9th, in case Tuesday falls through. This will affect 3,000 Pine Log Road in Commissioner Parish. I believe this is strictly about the Abercrombie boat ramp and dock. The next thing they did, they informed us of vegetation trimming away from their lines on circuits that serve the facilities listed below. There will be no spraying on these areas. I need to repeat that, Commissioners. There will be no spraying, just cutting. Most of this seems like county locations, the Sheriff's Department, up by Fonda, different places, but they need to clear those lines. They say it might create a power outage at some point, but they'll bring it right back on, okay? So just need to inform the board about that. Item F, good deal. The St. George Lighthouse Association is planning a new fundraiser festival on May 14th. It's the Sgi Shrimp Fest. It's going to be held in the parking area on the western side of St. George Island Lighthouse Park, and the association plans on this being an annual event held in early to mid-May. There'll be food. Of course, they're going to include shrimp. It's the Shrimp Fest. Live music, educational displays, and games for the kids. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Miss Amy Hodson, the Executive Director of St. George Island Lighthouse Association. Good. Events are good. That's good for the county.
Yeah.
Speaking of events, item G, Cam Gordon Johnson, 27th Annual Cam Gordon Johnson Days Parade is scheduled for Saturday, May 12th, starting at 10:45 a.m. As always, the board has been invited to participate in the parade, which starts at Highway 98, Northwest, and Northwest 10th Street intersection in Carabelle, and they travel east to the Highway 98 and County Road 67 intersection. I will register basically I send them a registration including all the commissioners, and I contact, I think, Fonda and Pam to provide vehicles for you guys to ride in the parade.
Question.
Sir?
It's stated in the packet that it's March 12th. You read May 12th.
I did, didn't I? March 12th. I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's
That's
March
good.
12th.
I just wanted to make sure we're right.
Now,
Okay.
now you got me doubting myself, but
No,
I
that's all
believe it's
good.
March 12th. I'll double check and let you guys
Okay.
know.
It
Okay?
is March 12th, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Commissioner.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, attached to my packet is the Apalachee Regional Planning Council's 2020-2021 annual report. No, and it didn't talk about Quentin getting a raise. There's a lot of statistical data in this report and links to other articles related to ARPC projects. Chairman Jones is your ARPC appointee, and he's also ARPC's Executive Committee Vice Chairman. He'll discuss some of the data on this report. Sir?
The only thing I really wanted to mention, Commissioners, because it's all there, it's pretty self-explanatory. When we were having our last meeting and they presented this report across our region of 9 counties, we are the regional planning council in Florida that has the lowest member dues, the lowest required for members, but we're probably right about in the middle of the amount of work that's being accomplished across the state, across the other planning councils. But the biggest thing I want to point out is your return on investment for what you're actually putting into being a part of this regional planning council is $43 for every $1
Whoa,
across the region.
very good.
So return on investment is but it's very good.
That's
commendable,
rich.
I think. I just want to make sure you were aware of that and the public's aware of that.
Okay, so there's one item I haven't, that I didn't put in my report. I'll get to that in a second. And of course, the last written item is about the workshop this afternoon at 1:30. I already emailed Caroline, she's on the way. So that should be an exciting workshop this afternoon, a step in the direction that everybody feels we need to
Exciting for who?
go with it. Sir?
Exciting for who?
Oh, it's great for the county.
Somebody. A select group? No, but yeah. Okay, final thing. Let me start off by first thanking Attorney Schuler. Sometimes something is right in your face and you don't see it until somebody else points it out to you. So Attorney Schuler called me yesterday, and it's in reference to the family in East Point that, lost their 2 kids. And he says, Michael, is there anything we can do to help this family, especially with the remaining balance of donated funds we have through the East Point fire victims? If you remember that, the county had some funds. Community Action was administering those funds for us. And I thought that was an excellent idea, and I thank Attorney Schuler again for that, pointing out what's obviously I've been thinking about it myself, trying to figure a way, how could the county help? So first, let me address this. There is a balance in that account. Commissioner Ward and I have been talking about different possibilities and scenarios and a way to use that money over the last month, but I think this situation trumps them all. So I'll just get to the point. Basically, Commissioner, I'm asking this board to authorize me to work with Attorney Schuler and see what needs to be done, how we can use that money to help this family in some way. I know we had some agreements, we'll have to look over, maybe make some amendments to some of these agreements in some way, but it will give Attorney Schuler and I the opportunity to come back to you on the 15th with a package saying, hey, if you guys do this and this, we can use this money to help this family. I mean, there's been fundraisers throughout the county that's been going on. I think this is an excellent way to contribute and to help with this situation, commissioners.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion to
With a
approve.
comment.
Motion approved by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Ward. Your comment, Commissioner Ward?
I just want to say, I do realize, and a lot of people might say, you know, we have a lot of needy people in our community. I understand that. And we try to help out as best we can throughout the county. We live in such a wonderful county where everybody pitches in and helps. Unfortunately, this family not only lost their home and everything contained within it, they lost 2 of their children. And that's a very sad thing. And so, yes, there's a lot of other people that need help, but you know, I feel like this family personally, who lost so much, they need a little help. Physically, emotionally, and mentally, this will help them get back on track. They'll never, ever forget what's happened, but this is maybe some kind of semblance of getting their life back on track and somewhat be able to move on. And so I think that's a great idea. And just so the community knows, you know, the Sheriff's Department's raising funds. I don't know what the last I heard was 60-something thousand in that. The yard sale that happened Saturday raised $4,000. The benefit dinner that Bragg and Bones and Lynn's Quality Oysters, Fisherman's Choice, Captain Kelly's, and I hope I didn't forget anybody. Red Pirate.
Yep.
Thank you, Chairman. That raised $7,000. So we're well on our way to get this family, you know, some nice funding sources for them to be able to hopefully get a permanent home and a vehicle, because she damaged her vehicle trying to get into the house to get the girls out. So I think it's a great idea, and I appreciate the forethought that the attorney and you had on that, Mr. Morone. So that's pretty much it. So I think it's a great idea. If we can do it, I'm all for it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mike, we do have to contact the state as to whether we can use those funds, right? That's, 'cause that's actually where the money come from?
No, those are donated funds, sir.
Oh, these are donated
Yes, sir.
funds you're
Yes.
talking about?
These are not the CDBG funds. We could not use.
Yeah, we couldn't, yeah, I wouldn't even do that to the board, I wouldn't bring that up, sir.
No. Now, these are the funds that the ESF 15 still
Yes.
has in that open account, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Question,
Yes, sir.
you did say a vehicle?
I'm sorry?
Commissioner Ward?
A vehicle? You said they also need a vehicle?
Yes, her vehicle was totaled. She tried to ram her, from what I understand, drive her vehicle into the home to try to break open a hole to get the girls out. So yes, she needs a new vehicle as well,
Let me ask you,
or a vehicle, not necessarily new.
I mean, I guess my question would be if maybe we could contact the sheriff department. Y'all said he was gonna put 3 vehicles over there. Maybe we can if we can do that. Is that a loaded question, I guess?
We can look at that, Commissioner Lockley. If you'll amend the motion in a second, we'll look and see. We do have different constraints on disposing of government property, but let's see what can be done.
Okay.
Okay, well, I put that to a motion.
So, we've not voted yet, have we?
No.
So we can amend the
just
motion
amend the
on the floor.
motion to
I'm
reflect
amending the
that?
motion to
Okay.
that.
I'll amend my second.
Okay, and so the amendment, Attorney Schuler, help me out to make sure we're doing right. Amendment is to look at what can be done to possibly using some of these one of these vehicles that was gonna be put out to auction anyway, to be given to this family.
Surplus, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, and I would ask Commissioner Bolt, who attended the Weems Board of Directors meeting, to give an update as best as you can as to the discussion with the dialysis, as it relates to the dialysis
Yes, sir.
clinic. I'm sorry, I was in and out of that meeting, so I couldn't be as thorough as Commissioner Bull probably can.
Sure. So the meeting referred to was this past Thursday morning, starting at 9 o'clock. It was the formal meeting of the Weems Memorial Hospital Board of Directors. And by the way, that meeting was standing room only. The people that attended spilled out into the hallway to hear what was all going on. Not only staff, but reporters and so on. And one of the pivot questions was relative to kidney dialysis. As you know, we talked about, and I referred to the potential of having the kidney dialysis program brought right here to Franklin County. And as we looked at options and so on, our hospital administrator, David Walker, reached out to former American Medical Association President Nancy Dickey, and Dr. Nancy suggested that we consider looking at a mobile kidney dialysis program, of which there apparently are 2 robust programs in this area, in the county, in this area and in the country. So that mobile dialysis, kidney dialysis program is being looked into, and I think it would be, again, something very viable to consider here for the county. So that's the upshot of what that was at the meeting. Okay. I also just would say, I would amend my comments to also say that I am very pleased with the progress that our county hospital is making, and specifically with our management company, Alliant Rural Healthcare. They are really stepping up to the plate and showing good county statistics and good hospital statistics. The hospital staff is growing, and I find that the hospital medical staff is becoming more and more diverse. So things are looking very good there at our hospital.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I got to disagree with you there, Commissioner. I ain't all that pleased because we not doing what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to build a hospital. That's what we told the people. We're doing a lot of things out there, and that's good. But we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We told the people right on that ballot that we were gonna build a hospital. That's going on 18 years. This 15, 16 years ago. I ain't seen no bricks and mortar. Got money out there. It's time to build a hospital.
Was there anything else from that meeting, sir? Or was that it?
So,
okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Rome.
Sir.
Before you go, I want to ask a question. So I know we talked about it a couple of months ago, and I know it's outside of us because we've hired a contractor to do it, or architect or whatever. I don't know what our process is on the armory, because as I understood it, we had hired somebody so we could try to get something done and do whatever we need to do, but it's rolling on and rolling on. I'll just be blunt, and maybe this is selfish. My middle son was not able to have a prom because of COVID, and I really want my daughter, who is my last one to graduate, to have a prom. So I want to know what we're doing with the armory.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll have a comprehensive update for you at the next meeting, but
Okay.
I could tell you right now, most of the problems is with having to deal with 2 state agencies to get the approval to get the project moving forward.
Okay, so maybe what we need to do is consider a third option. Even if we have to have 2 people on fire watch, we have to be able to, we need to find a way to get some of these things done.
Yeah, but the project, I mean, construction is about to be advertised and starting, because I had to let, Heather sent me a request to do the primaries in August, and they basically told her no, so she's looking for another location for the primaries also.
Well, the primaries can be had in a small building. Proms really can't be held in something smaller than half of this room.
Yeah.
And that's the only other options in Franklin County.
Yes, so, well, I'll
Just
get a timeline.
bring back to us.
Yeah, I'll bring it
Just
back
know
to you
it's a
because
discussion I wanna have.
it actually would be probably a decision of holding up all construction for the prom.
Well, they haven't started anything yet.
Or moving, well, yeah.
That's my point. They
And-
haven't
and
started
prom
anything
is-
yet. It should be sometime in the spring of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date, but you know what I mean? We just need to, before we start construction, since we've been 3 months getting to starting construction, and we still hadn't, that's why I want to discuss
Okay.
it now, is all I'm saying.
That's what I'll do. I'll bring back a report and you guys give me some direction.
That's all I had. Anyone else have anything for Mr. Merle?
I do.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mr. Morone.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, he snuck that one in on you, didn't he?
Let me tell you, if you guys see me walking around here today, both of my knees hurt. I'm like, I feel it today, I'll tell you.
Good.
But thank you all. Thank you so much.
You think they hurt now, wait till you get my age.
Wouldn't it be neat?
Commissioner, you're still a young spring chicken.
Wouldn't it be neat if we could sing happy birthday during the commission meeting?
Hey, can I
Yes, sir.
say something?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to go, I got a couple things I need to say before we go in the commissioner comment, so I wanna make a motion. They make now the commissioner
Well,
comment.
we still have Attorney Schuler, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, I'll wait after you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be brief, and happy birthday, Mr. Merle.
Yeah.
I'll sing happy birthday and torment you after the meeting.
Yeah. As long as we don't catch that on Zoom, we're good, sir.
Yeah, for all of us. But, I submitted an informational item report to the board. I do not have any action items. I've called and spoken with each of you individually about the information items, so unless the board has any questions for me, I will conclude my report at this time.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Attorney Schuler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before we go to Commissioner comments, Commissioner Lockley, go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
Yes, I see we putting a lot of work on Commissioner Bolt. And he nice enough to accept it, and that's good. But the man is spending his transportation. So I'm gonna make a motion that we pay these commissioners who got to travel to all these meetings inside the county. Because it ain't right for him to have to spend his money to go tend to our business. He's not doing that to go tend to his business. He's doing that to tend to county business. And I put that in form of motion.
So you're talking about that for mileage, Commissioner?
Yeah.
So you want us to look into a policy for inter-county travel, mileage for inter-county travel?
No, I want you to pay him.
Well,
It's already, it's there. I bet there ain't no looking into it.
Well, Commissioner, I wish I had that authority, but I have to
Well,
see legally what we can and can't do, and then I'll
We
let
finna
you
give you
know.
the authority, Mike.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lockley, over the course of a number of years, on a number of occasions, I have looked at the issue of intra-county travel policy, and right now, unless they've changed the state law doesn't allow us to pay for, intra-county travel. Now, I don't mind looking at it, and I'll come back, I'll give all of you a phone call and make a formal report at the next meeting. Now having said that, I'm aware of certain counties that do different things to the west of us that,
To the north of us.
but in any event, every time I've looked at intra-county reimbursement for mileage and travel, there's been a prohibition, but then again, that's always been looked at, I believe, in terms of employee travel, not necessarily commissioner travel. So I'll be happy to look at it and report back if that's okay with you, Mr. Noah.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah. But
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on just a second. Attorney Schuler, so do we need to get a second of this motion to vote on it for you to be able to do that, or what do
No,
we need
sir.
to do?
My recommendation is withdraw the motion, and I'll report back to the board and make whatever decision you need to at the next meeting in 2 weeks. But I know there's definitely a clear prohibition on employees for in-county travel. I will have to look at it in terms of county commissioners.
Okay, so Commissioner Locke, are you good with withdrawing the motion with what's said, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna withdraw it, but I know it's being done.
Okay.
I'm aware of the same thing, but
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Not him, but in other counties it's being done.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we're in the proper place procedurally is what I'm trying to do.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I mean, I can see as Attorney Schuler said, employees, because most of the time employees are driving county vehicles,
Yes.
county gas. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not running all over the county in your vehicle and your gas. So I kind of see where Mr. Norris, just like me, I like to go to Alligator Point and see where we at on that road.
Yes.
Well, that's
Yeah.
50-something miles down there and 50-something miles back. Made many trips down there, but I've never requested to be funded for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, that's part of my job, but
Yeah.
I do understand where Mr. Locker's coming from.
Yeah.
And I can understand employees not needing it, because they're using county vehicles, county gas, county insurance,
Yeah.
county everything, you know,
Sure.
so I can see employees not being paid. When they respond to Alligator Point or whatever.
Mhm.
They're on the clock and everything's paid for by the county.
I mean, you just look, the man, he just went to the hospital for a week. Go there, he come here. Now we put him on that thing that moves.
Yep, transportation. Yep.
Whatever, else will, and the rest of us not doing it. And I believe in being fair, that's all.
So, Commissioner Bolt, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Lockley, thank you for your insight in that issue of transportation. But you know, truly, we are a single-member district and we look out for our own villages. However, as you begin to see the more up-to-date thinking here is that we also have a spirit of complementing each other as commissioners, and we all have a lot of different talents to be able to do that complementing. I personally enjoy hospital work. I grew up as a young boy making money in a hospital. I was an orderly and an aide. I enjoy the airport because I learned how to fly an airplane in my young adult years and did it for many, many years. And so the spirit of all of us coming together, Commissioner going to our Alligator Point project and so on, represents a wholesome overall view of our county. And yes, we take care of our district too, but wherever we can, you know, bring our talents and complement each other, I think that's a good thing.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Anyone have anything for Attorney Schuler before we proceed and go to Commissioner's comments? All right, it's time for Commissioner comments. Anyone? I will say this. I know it's been, talk about one of my other favorite things. I know it's been a very difficult year for Franklin County Schools basketball program, but I'll tell you something now that maybe hasn't been said. For our size school, for our District 1A, we have the third toughest schedule in the state of Florida. The coach did that with a purpose, because now it's almost time to play districts. Well, and I'll just put it this way, the last two district games we played, we won one by 53 points, and we won the last one by 52 points. So the whole purpose of playing the harder schedule is it's going to pay off when it's time to go to playoff time, which is where we are. Tonight is our last home district game versus Liberty County at 7 o'clock. And I'd like to invite all you commissioners out to attend, because I think you're going to have a fun time not only watching our young men play, but watching them succeed. And I just want to make sure you're aware of that.
Game will be here tonight.
Yes, sir, at East Point at 7 o'clock. Any other commissioners have a comment?
I like that, they beat St. Jude.
It was 72-30, yes, sir, that was pretty outstanding.
Bring back the old days, huh, Commissioner Lockley?
Beat them bad.
Mr. Chairman, I've got one quick
Yes.
thing. I just want to thank the community, Franklin County as a whole. The fire that happened was in my district, so I just want to thank the Sheriff's Office, the restaurants, the individuals that have come out, put yard sales on, donated, given their time, everything that's been involved to raise money for the Cooper family. I just want to thank our wonderful county, how we've all pulled together and trying to accommodate and get things done so they can get a permanent home. We are going to have a benefit car show February the 12th at Emerald Coast Credit Union. So the details are still kind of being hashed out. So just stay tuned, and I'll be updating some things on my Facebook page so that we can hopefully raise some more money for them. So thanks.
So,
Thanks again.
Commissioner, how long did the food last?
An hour, less than
No,
an hour?
35 minutes.
45 minutes? I
'Cause-
got there early. I was like, I better get there early because
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna go fast. And it was a lot of food, and for it was good food.
Good.
Yes.
And it was nice. It's nice to see the community pull together. We
Pull
always
together.
have. We always have come together to make things happen. And I just love our community and our county so much because we do that.
We sure
Yeah,
do.
it was very quick.
That's good.
I actually was the beneficiary of the last two plates.
Look
they
at
had.
you.
I was gonna wait till 12, so I let everybody else go. So I went ahead and went at 11:25, and when I got there, it was the last two plates they had to give.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
That's
to
my
raise
daughter.
$7,000
Yes.
in what,
Yes.
less than an hour is
Yes.
phenomenal.
And I can say that the long line of people that were behind me, most every one of them that I saw, even though there weren't plates left, they were still donating their
Donating,
funds.
yeah.
So, yeah, it was nice
Yeah.
to see.
At the yard sale, we had somebody from Oklahoma just ride by. They didn't buy anything. They just threw some money in the donation jar. So it just goes to show you not only our community, but people from that come to visit our community also help and had, given money and donated. So
Yep. As my daughter would love to say, commissioners, look at God.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Yep. Any other commissioner comments today? All right, meeting adjourned.